to say a few words over us.
Just in time.
Bless this man. That's right.
Having a quorum present, I call the meeting of the October 13th, 2025 meeting of the Rockingham County Planning Board in session. Mr. Corey Scott will lead us in invocation.
Let's pray. Gracious Father in heaven, we are grateful to gather here in this planning board meeting for Rockingham County. We're grateful for the members of the planning board and their willingness to serve in the best interests of both the county and the citizens thereof. And pray that as we ponder the issues and the requests that are before us, that we might have the wisdom and insight that we need to render the decisions that would be most beneficial to all. We're grateful for the county planning people who work very hard to support this county, and pray that thou will bless them in their efforts to guide and direct the planning efforts throughout the county. We pray that as we proceed in this meeting, that we might be patient, peacemakers, and have an opportunity to express what we need to express, but do so in a civil and respectful way. And we pray for thy blessing at this time in the name of our Savior, who is our Lord Jesus Christ. Amen.
The next item on the agenda is the adoption of the agenda. Do I have a motion to adopt the agenda?
Second.
The motion has been made and seconded. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposition, say nay. The agenda is adopted. The next order of business is approval of the minutes from the August 11th, 2025 meeting. Do I have a motion to approve the minutes?
I move that we approve the minutes from that meeting.
Do I have a second?
Second.
I have a motion and a second. Do all in favor say aye? Aye. Any opposed, say nay. The ayes have it. The approval of the minutes have been adopted. And I just want to take just a second here for a personal point here. I haven't been the chair for a very long time. Paul Sinowitz is our usual chair, and he is not here tonight, and he does a stellar job. I will never be able to fill his shoes, but we will try to muddle through this. This is all perfectly legal. So if I'm planning, the folks over there, if I miss anything, please stop me, and then we will, but we will proceed. Before we start.
Wait a minute, listen to her complain about her not having ever.
It's a long time ago.
A long time
A long
ago.
time ago.
How about never before?
Oh, yeah, you did a great job. Thank you so much. So while Paul and I both were out at the August 11th, I hear it was a gangbuster. You made a really good name for yourself all over the planning board world. That aside, but before we start, the procedures for our hearings here for these two cases, staff will review the case with the board. We will then allow the applicant to come up and have some time to talk about the application, and then we will open up the floor for public comment. And there are some rules as to the public comment. Anyone who would like to address the board during the hearing should register on the appropriate sign-up sheet indicating their name and address. The sign-up sheet was available at the table at the door, but you can still sign up if you would like to speak. Each speaker will be called by the chair and will state their name and address. Speakers will address all comments to the board as a whole and not one individual members. Speakers will use decorum when addressing this board, and the audience will please refrain from outburst or applause while the speakers are speaking. Each speaker during the public speaking section will have 3 minutes to present their thoughts. And with that, staff, can you please present zoning map amendment number 2025-12?
Thank you, Mrs. Chair and members of the board. Before us tonight is zoning planning case 2025-12. This is going to be a request to rezone a property from residential agriculture to highway commercial. For the record, the tax PIN is 891307688521, and the location is addressed as 173 Allen Road. This is coming to you as a conventional rezoning request. So when we make a decision on conventional rezonings, we should be looking at all of the potential uses that are in the RA district in this case, and all of the potential uses in highway commercial, and not any specific use. This is a vicinity map of the property. As you can see, this is really close to the eastern portion of Reidsville. This is the zoning map of the property. As you can see, this property is going to be residential agriculture, and surrounding it on the county side of it, we'll see mostly residential agriculture, a little bit of RP, especially to the east. And then there to the west, you'll see some highway industrial. And then to the west as well, you will also see some industrial, but that's going to be more on the Reidsville side of it. They're west along Grooms Road. And this kind of clearly more shows the city limits of Reidsville. And as you can see, this property is mostly going to be kind of open field with some woodland to the south of the property. As far as the land use plan goes, this property is located in the G1 transect according to the comprehensive plan. This is designated as a low-density growth area. For the most part, this calls for RA zoning as well as residential mix zoning as potential uses, maybe some planned unit developments being appropriate and things like that. But kind of given the context of the area and that we do already have some industrial zoning, both on the county side as well as the very adjacent Reidsville side of it, staff is recommending approval based less on that consistency side with the land use plan, but more on that reasonableness, considering some of the zoning of the property adjacent to it. With that, I'd be happy to answer any questions that you have.
Are there any questions?
Are they going to use the, is there, maybe it's the appropriate question, are they going to use the entire property for, or it's not going to subdivide this into pieces for highway commercial? It's going to be all 16-something acres, is that right?
I believe the plan is to keep it as a singular parcel for the most part, but I don't believe the applicant is here to speak to that. I could be wrong. But I think there is some slight, like a creek at the very south
Yeah,
edge
that was
of
my
it.
next
So
question.
there's probably going to be some limitations there on the south end of the property to developing all of the site, just kind of naturally because of that. But
Have you had any calls?
we did have one or two inquiries come in, and we did have one person submit some comments of opposition that I believe is at the very end of your packet that we included. I don't believe they made it in tonight and wanted to submit that. Yeah, that's the very last page of your packet.
And do we, so the highway industrial, what's the proximity to that?
Map back up. I don't know that I have an exact measurement, but it's probably going to be at least within 200 feet or so of the property if I had to recall off the top of my head. Does that sound right to you, Nick?
So that's not, that's pretty close.
Yes, it would be.
Yeah, I mean, it's in earshot of like the steel place, and, the water testing organization, what is it? And there's a lot of industrial stuff along that road.
The next one. I see it there.
Yeah, you can see the structures a little bit better on the aerial there.
So where's the person referenced a pond?
I think that if you see where, yep, like the 272 address point is, it's just kind of north of there, that triangular shaped.
However, this also means that if we were to approve this before the owner did anything with it, they would have to go through a technical review.
That's correct.
And
Yeah,
all of
if
these
they
issues
were-
around environmental issues that are expressed in this.
That's
Will be
absolutely correct. So if they do come in with a site plan to develop this property at some point, that is going to get submitted to our technical review committee, in which case you're going to have multiple different departments kind of look at the specifics of, the UDO, the fire marshal, NCDOT. We do submit this to NCDEQ as well. They would be required to get any kind of permits or anything from NCDEQ.
And I'm a little perplexed as to why we're going from highway industrial to highway commercial. Why not just go up to highway industrial?
I think from staff's perspective of kind of talking to the applicant, the highway commercial was just going to be as fitting to some of the uses that they kind of described of wanting, while also just kind of technically being a less intensive district. So that's typically what we're going to recommend for most applicants. If a less intense district is kind of going to do the job for the most part, that's usually what we're going to recommend to applicants for the most part. So that probably plays quite a bit into it.
Okay. Are there any more questions from board members?
Are there any sort of development existing on that parcel right now? Like a house or sheds or anything?
As far as I'm aware, I don't believe there is currently on this particular parcel.
Okay. And it's going to have a private well and septic system?
Yeah, from my understanding, they'll be seeking private. Most of the utilities in the area, I think, would be City of Reidsville.
It's not already been perked, tested?
Or does it have city water?
I don't believe it currently has any kind of public utility connections, and I don't think they're currently, at least their plan so far is to seek any public utility connections. I'm not quite sure off the top of my head if they've currently got this property perked. They do have an address point already on there, so that's usually an indication to me that they probably have at least had a perk test. That's usually kind of where we would go ahead and assign an address. So I don't know that with certainty, but it just kind of deduction of logic here. I do think they probably have at least perked it. But take that with a bit of a grain of salt.
Thank you.
Yep.
Any more questions? Okay. Is
Signed up, yeah.
Is the applicant here tonight? Okay, we will open the floor to public comments. Mary Jane Webb. Please state your name and address.
Yes, my name is Mary Jane Webb. I'm a resident of 221 Busick Road, which is the road that also borders the property opposite from Allen Road. And I think you may have answered some of the questions that I have, or not necessarily questions, but concerns. So I have lived on Busick Road for 6.5, almost 7 years now, so I've had quite an experience with the lower end of that road. My residence is actually right next to the pond that was pointed out on that map. And on the map, it appears that the pond is much smaller than what it actually is, but it's actually what I would consider to be a very large pond. So I'd just like to share some information about my experience over the last couple of years. I don't come from a position where I'm necessarily opposed to a business. I want people to thrive. Most importantly, public safety is my heart, and I want to make sure that the people who live in our neighborhood are safe. And I do have some extreme safety concerns for at least 2 of the residents, but also property damage to other residents that are at the end of Busick Road. This property borders the large pond, and over the 6 past years have repeatedly breached during heavy rainfall due to the significant amount of water directed from the higher elevation of the neighborhoods that are both on the north side of Grooms Road, but I assume that anything at higher elevation to us is sending water down to our location. The dam that forms the pond is also the only physical access point to the 2 residents at 272 and also at 276 Busick Road. Therefore, if that dam is breached, neither of those residents are able to exit their residence. Also, emergency services are not able to enter their residence as well. During the breach, there has been a significant amount of work done on the dam. One of the property owners in that area has spent a great deal of time and also financial resources in order to have an overflow built into the dam. As it stands now, we're only just a matter of months past that repair being done. So I can't tell you that those repairs have completely fixed that problem, but I can tell you that the amount of water that hits that pond comes with a tremendous force. I do have a video that I would love to share with you if you had that ability, but I also have photographs and can actually show you what the dam looks like and the quantity of water that comes from the pond, both into my drainage system, which there is no way that it can be maintained. It completely overflows my entire yard just during a basic moderate rain. I'm happy to share these photographs with you guys if you have any questions, but my public concern would mainly be the fact that we have 2 older women who are living on the far side of that dam, and if anything happens to that dam, they will not be able to enter or exit their residence, and the creek that actually feeds that pond comes through the property that you're looking at rezoning today. So any effect that takes place in that zoning, it's just super important for me to know that I have passed on to you guys in that decision-making process that we already have a large issue at the end of Busick Road, and we certainly don't want that to continue on further.
Members have any questions of Ms. Webb?
Yeah, who owns the dam?
It is my understanding that it is a combination. I was originally told that the property owner, I believe at 272, owned the dam. She is the one who is currently, I think, financially making the repairs on that dam. But then I was also recently told that there were several property owners that sit on that same pond that share that responsibility. So I apologize, I can't answer that specifically.
Okay, so the reason I'm asking that question is I happen to live on a lake and I happen to own half a dam, okay? And so the responsibility downstream or the quality and the maintenance of that dam is part of my personal responsibility. And so if you're having flooding problems and stuff like that, you know, and by the way, my maintenance of the dam has irrespective of what's coming down from up above, you know, and so I'm not sure if I'm comfortable with the connection for 2 reasons. One is that I'm surprised they built a road across the dam to get to people's homes. And then there's a question about who's the owner and what's the scheduled maintenance there is for that home, or I mean for that dam. And then use that as evidence to block somebody being able to develop the property. But I think we might be pretty confident, I think during the review, that they would have to look at, okay, there's a creek that goes through there and that would impact this water supply. I think that would be a good place for that during the technical review to evaluate that and determine whether that is actually in fact a problem that would maybe prohibit what they are able to accomplish on the property.
Staff, can you answer that question as to what will happen, particularly with this, with the runoff and the dam issue and technical review?
Yeah, I mean, the majority of what I can say is that they would be required, especially if they do a certain amount of grading, to obtain permits from the NCDEQ, the Department of Environmental Quality. That's mostly going to be for erosion control and things like that. So most of the actual particular regulations come from the state. So they're kind of the subject matter experts on that and would be doing all the reviewing and permitting. But that is something that they would likely, if there's any kind of substantial development on the property, would likely end up needing to get permitting and review for something like that.
And do you know, with these photographs that Ms. Webb has provided for us, this seems to be some pretty significant flooding. There's some pretty significant flooding issues here. Is that, what did you find in your report? I didn't see anything in your report about this possibly being an issue for this parcel.
Yeah, I mean, I don't believe that there's any, and I was just double checking just now just to make sure, but I don't think there's any current water features on this particular parcel. But, you know, that doesn't matter. That doesn't mean that there isn't going to be some on adjacent parcels. But kind of like I said, in regards to any of the regulations that we would have for something like water runoff and erosion, things like that, that's mostly going to come from NCDEQ in this instance.
So that wouldn't necessarily preclude us from approving this rezoning. That would be handled in technical review when the owner decides to actually build or whatever they decide to utilize this property for, correct?
That is correct. It is going to be reviewed at a, you know, at a regulatory level and an administrative level. That doesn't mean that, you know, it can, you know, you are taking in feedback from local property owners, and so that's kind of up to you to decide ultimately how much you want that to play a part in your decision-making at the end of the day. But at least as far as, there are going to be regulations concerning stuff like that. It's just going to be coming from a different entity.
And can we make the approval conditional on that?
This is currently
Strike
coming as a general use rezoning, so we wouldn't be able to put specific conditions on this proposal tonight.
Any of these uses, but what that tells us, well, let's hear from the second one, and then we'll discuss.
Thank you.
Is that it?
I don't like these pictures at all.
In reference to the dam. So the water that is actually causing the property damage to my residents is not water that's coming from the pond or the dam. In my opinion, the infrastructure, as far as the ditches and the drainage that are coming from that northern housing development that's on the north side of Grooms Road. So they have ditches and water pipes, and all of those empty out underneath Grooms Road and come down Busick Road. But because that infrastructure is not there, that also ends up in my residence as well. So separate and apart from the pond issue, just a concern that a lot of that water coming down through Busick Road may not even be going directly into the pond. It's actually directly going into the drainage area that just doesn't have a good infrastructure to it.
Yeah.
Oh, no problem at all. I just wanted to make sure that you guys were aware that us down in the lower elevations are having some concerns already, and that I just have a general concern that when you start changing things uphill, is it going to make things better or is it going to make it worse?
Do you happen to know the specifics of what work was done on that dam? Because it kind of
work?
appears to be maybe more spillway related.
So the spillway, the work that was done on it, and actually it's been done twice in the last 12 months or so, they put in a much larger drainage pipe. So there's one drainage pipe in the very center of the dam that is sunk relatively low. And then in the spillway, there was a drainage pipe, but it was small enough that it got cluttered and things got in it. So when it first breached, they had to completely bring that up. So they replaced the drainage pipe with a much larger diameter, put riffraff down. They thought they had it solid. The very next rain, enough water came through that it pushed the drainage pipe and all that rock, and they had to come back with large concrete barriers in order to hold that up. Yeah. Thank you.
Thank you.
Noni Billingsley? Please state your name and address.
Hello, my name is Nani Billingsley, and I live at 924 Grooms Road, Reidsville, North Carolina, which is less than 1,000 foot from this location. I'm coming from a different perspective, that the neighborhood is mostly residential. Yes, there's an industrial park up ahead, but that's been there 30 years. I've lived at 924 Grooms Road for 28 years. My neighbors have lived there probably, they've had it at least 50 years. We're trying to get this neighborhood to stay residential because it is not able to handle much more traffic. City of Reidsville has about 80 to 100 apartments that were just built at the end of Grooms Road. You have Love's that's right there. Then the land that is directly across from me just sold, and they're going to build 30 new homes there, which is less than 1,000 foot from this parcel that is in question. We just had another fatality right in, almost directly in front of this particular parcel because he was walking down the road. There's a lot of traffic, a lot of foot traffic because we have a lot of residents. If we add another highway commercial, that's going to bring in more vehicles, more big trucks, which means more fatalities, more traffic. There's no sidewalk there. The county would have to spend millions in a sidewalk from the residential areas to the stores where they go back and forth now. The two industrial parks, one of them is a dump truck site that only has 5 trucks. I know them personally. There's not much traffic in and out of there now. The second one is a plastic recovery or recycling place. It used to be the old heat treat place. It was busy then. It's not busy now. So the traffic is very minimal with the big trucks. But if we bring in something highway commercial that has big trucks, I'm really afraid we're going to have more fatalities on that road. I know of at least 4 in the last 3 years on that road, which is a lot. So that is our biggest concern, as well as the noise and everything else, just maneuvering back and forth. With the Loves up there, it takes you at least 10 minutes to get from our residence just to Barn Street sometimes because of the traffic. If we add more, it's just going to be worse. Thank you.
Does anyone have any questions?
Yes. Those parcels that are immediately, I guess that's to the east, whatever, of this part of this subject site here.
Yes.
Are all those parcels currently occupied?
Every one of those are. You'll see 924, I've been there since 1996. You'll see 900, Mr. and Ms. Pruitt's been there at least 50 years. 936, how many years? 50? 50 years for them. All the way down, every one of those are parcels. Across the street, every one of those are parcels, and that's a neighborhood. That land, that big parcel of land right there at Dockery and Grooms Road that does not have a parcel number, that's going to be 30 homes that were approved,
Well,
or my understanding
I'm
approved.
talking about those parcels that are
Yes.
off of, it looks like Ballymena Road and Withers,
Yes.
Withersy
That is
Road,
Cambridge. Every bit of that is homes,
currently occupied.
every one of them,
Okay.
for years.
That's
There's
a
a
lot of-
lot of foot traffic.
Yeah, that's a lot of traffic. Yeah.
The place that is in question was a house there, that's why it's got a parcel number. It was tore down when they sold it. The couple actually passed away. They sold it, they split that parcel up with 140. 140 was bought from another gentleman, and then another lady bought 173 a few years ago.
Thank you.
Any more questions?
Thing I need to add, I forgot all about this, talking about water. Every one of us are on, that is from 800 down to at least 948 that I know of for a fact, are on a underground spring water for our well. So I know you said that they would have to go through permitting and testing and stuff. I would worry if this was a highway commercial and big building with lots of water and they were going on public, would that affect us and our well water? I've never had a problem with mine going dry, and I don't want one now. Thank you.
Thank you. Is there any discussion?
Comments.
Or question, any more questions for staff? Are we ready for a motion?
Property to the west. On the map. Is that, what's the current use of that? Just RA?
Yeah, I believe the few couple of properties there directly to the west they're zoned residential agriculture, and I believe there are home sites on there as well.
Are those the two pieces of property towards the
Heading-
highway industrial?
How does
Correct.
the property back to the south, how do they access that? Down Busick Road or
Which property are you referring to, Clint?
directly to the south, the backside of that property?
I believe the main structure on that one is 272, so I think they're getting their access from Busick.
So they are coming around by Busick. Are they crossing the dam as well?
That I couldn't be certain.
I think they are. I think it shows on the map that they are. Mary Jane says they do, yep. Yeah, those, yes, you see
Yeah.
here, they're coming across the dam to get those two, to get. Where exactly is the city limits?
If you look there on the aerial, that's going to give you a good showing of that.
The green,
Yeah,
the green is
the green on the
Reidsville.
aerial map.
Yeah, so we are right up against the city limits
Correct.
here. It's just across the street, as a matter of fact.
Yeah, considering the cities all around that, I'm surprised they haven't tried to annex that.
Typically, I usually see if a property is going to be interested in annexation, it's usually for some form of obtaining public utilities. I don't think this applicant was terribly interested in that for the most part, but not to say that, you know, that mine couldn't be changed later and they do at some point apply for annexation or something along that lines, but at least from our conversations with them, they didn't seem interested at this time.
Well, I mean, and if the city, you know, but if this property owner decided to add, you know, to ask for Reidsville's services, then that means all those other properties in between would also then be available, would have availability to get city services also. There's just some-
Can the city extend, I mean, you've got a piece of property that is, I mean, they are not far from city services in the first place. It's across the street. Can the city provide water and sewer if the applicant asks? I mean, I know it's a big tap fee, but
I really wouldn't be able to speak to what the city would be able to offer them at this location or just kind of generally, especially when it comes to, especially something like public utilities.
yeah, we just haven't seen cases where you're kind of surrounded by a city with that close to services. I'm just wondered. So, okay.
Okay.
Any more questions? Any more discussion? Now, do I have a motion?
I'll make a motion to approve.
Read.
And it'd be based on the consistency and the reasonable determination statements that are included in the agenda packet and may be amended during the rezoning process, which means it will be very, very looked at and down the road as far as going forward is what may be done with this property.
You're referring to TRC review.
I second that.
I have a motion and a second. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed, please say nay.
Nay.
That is 4 ayes and 1 nay. The motion carries.
Who was the nay? I'm so sorry.
Also,
you're fine. Thank you.
our decisions here are merely a recommendation to the county commission. The county commission will hear this case on it during its,
It will be the November meeting. Give me 1 second, I can confirm. The 17th is what it would normally, under normal circumstances, probably go to.
the county commission's November 17th meeting. If you wish to show up for public comment again, you will have that opportunity. Thank you very much. Okay, shall we hear case number 2025-13?
Thank you, Madam Chair. I'm Nick. I'm a new planner. Some of you haven't met me. So this is, let's see here. This is case 2025-13. It's the Harkin Reader rezoning. The tax PIN is 793104833120, and it's being requested to be rezoned from neighborhood commercial to residential agriculture. It's located at 120 Haynes Road in the new Bethel Township, and it's a conventional rezoning. So this is a vicinity map. It's located at the intersection of Haynes Road and US Highway 158. It's also not far from Interstate 73 or 220 to its west. This is a zoning map of the neighboring parcels. Pretty much everything surrounding it is zoned residential agriculture with some residential protected to its west. This is a aerial view of the parcel. And the parcel is located in the G1 transect according to the Rockingham County Land Use Plan, which is characterized by low-density growth. And the G1 land class should generally be zoned residential agriculture, but there are nodes where residential mix would be more appropriate. Are there any questions from the planning board?
Any calls on this?
3 inquiries, Board Member Roberts, just 3, and they were just general inquiries.
Nobody signed up to speak or anything?
No, sir. The applicant is here, I do believe, Mr. Harkin Reader. Yeah.
Are there any other questions of? So how long has this property been highway commercial?
Neighborhood commercial.
Neighborhood commercial.
It was rezoned in 2019.
And now we're coming back and rezoning it back to its original, and I'm assuming before 2019, what was it zoned?
Residential agriculture.
So anything's changed on it since then?
I think there's currently a business structure on it. But I think that's the only current building on the structure, on the parcel, excuse me.
Okay,
I'm sorry.
go ahead.
How do you access those 2 parcels that, the 2 RA parcels that are immediately to the north of there? How do you access those? From Old Mill Road?
It looks like those parcels are getting access from Haynes Road.
Okay, but this parcel includes that, it looks like there's some sort of little driveway or something there.
Yes, sir. I do believe that current parcel also gains its access off of Haynes Road and not off of US Highway 1.
Is there an easement there for those, for that access?
It looks like that 134 may have access off of Haynes Road as well, and I would have to look at a plat to tell you whether or not there's an easement.
Okay.
But just based on general planning practices, I would assume that that probably has an easement. It also looks like 134 has access off of Old Mill Road as well.
I'm sorry, say it again.
It also looks like that 134 has access off of Old Mill Road as well.
Okay, yeah, I guess.
does.
we could. All right, thank you.
Yes, sir.
It doesn't appear that anything's landlocked.
Yeah, I'm not, from the picture, from the map, I'm not seeing any
Yeah.
structures on there that are visible.
Okay. Is the applicant here? Oh, thank you. Would you like to approach the podium? Please state your name and address.
Michael Harkenreader, 7101 Rabbit Hollow Road, Summerfield, North Carolina, 27358.
Thank you, Mrs. Mr. Harkenreader. Does anybody have any questions for the applicant?
How long have you had the property? Since-
I believe we purchased it in 2021.
So, okay, you didn't do the original rezoning request?
No, sir, it was commercial when we purchased it.
Go
Have you
ahead.
done anything with it? I mean, it's just been sitting idle, is that?
It's just been idle. There aren't any structures on it. It was originally purchased for a Dollar General, which then moved further down the road at a different location. And that one kind of road driveway off of Haynes Road, that's on the property. The gentleman that lives in that house took care of that property for the original owner prior to the people who, or prior to the Dollar General who had it rezoned. So he had tractor equipment and stuff when he was maintaining that property. When we purchased the land, we were not made aware of any easements for anybody in that development to go through that the Haynes Road property into the back of their neighborhood. The only easements we were aware of were for utilities on the corners and along the street.
And you don't want to do anything commercial to that piece of property?
We were looking to put our restaurant there. That was pre-COVID, during the time of COVID. And since COVID, it's just not going to be feasible for the scale of what we were looking to do. So we don't particularly have a use for this property. We've tried to sell it commercial for the past 2 years, 2+ years now. And probably about 97% of the inquiries for the commercial, for the property were residential inquiries. So we thought that that would be more suitable for the neighborhood and for us in trying to sell it.
There you go. Any more questions? Thank you very much. Is there any discussion? No discussion?
I have a motion.
Can I have a motion?
A motion to recommend approval of this request based on the consistency and reasonableness determination statements that are included in the agenda packet as may be amended during the rezoning process.
Do I have a second?
Second.
All in favor, please say aye. Aye. All those opposed, please say nay. The ayes have it, motion carries. Again, this is a recommendation to the county commission. They will hear this, they will review this case on November the 17th. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Oh, and there was no one signed up for this. Okay. Other business, our new business, the planning board meeting schedule has been attached to your packet. And as you can see, The meeting date is the second Monday, and the application deadlines and the Board of Commissioners meetings are also put in there. And that's a nice touch. Thank you very much.
You can thank Nick for doing the work on that.
Thank you. Thank you very much. We've never had that before, and that's very
Yeah,
good.
and I like the way that, the links, in the, one-page email, here's all the links.
Yep,
I thought that
yep.
was-
That,
We sent the packet out. Did y'all like that?
loved it. That
Good.
was
Yeah, we're
great.
making a transition to the we're making a transition to the software on that, and thought it would be easier, especially we get big packets and stuff, and email doesn't like to send stuff of a certain size, so hopefully that'll be easier for y'all. But if y'all have any issues receiving that, just let me know.
I was just like, wow, that's different. I like it. Let's go.
November, December, has that, anything on it? We still up?
Fairly heavy planning board for November. Got at least 3 items, maybe a fourth as well. So expect a heavy one for November. Don't quite know for December yet.
Are you looking for approval for this one?
It's on this, that's fine.
Yeah, so we've
If y'all
got,
don't have any issues with it.
it's under the old business, board order approval for the 2026 Planning Board meeting schedule. Do I have a motion to approve the Planning Board meeting schedule?
Motion.
Do I have a second?
Second.
All in favor, please say aye. Aye. Those opposed, say nay. The second is a board order approval for,
Cell tower from our previous, it was a while ago at this point, but it was
August meeting.
our most recent August meeting, the cell tower that we approved. So this is just kind of the final language for special use permits. We typically do this extra little approval process for the, kind of the legal language. But
so do I have a motion to approve the order, Order 10, 2025? Do I have a second?
Second.
All those in favor, please say aye. Aye. All those opposed, say nay. Motion carries. The order is approved.
Does Paul have to sign this, or can Julie sign that tonight?
Do I have a motion to adjourn?
Second.
All those in favor, say aye. All those opposed, say nay. The meeting is adjourned.